if you want to say hello or hi to someone you've met for the first time or are not well acquainted with in Korea, the formal way is 안녕하세요, and I'll type out the phonetic in the script. And when you're transliterating from, that is, when you're transliterating from Korean to English, that is, writing Korean words in English letters, um, sometimes in order to get the phonetics, the sound approximated, um, you can't write it out letter for letter. And there are a few letters in Korean language, just like, or I should say characters in Korean script, just like in English, that often are sounded differently. For example, in English, the C can be pronounced with like a K, k, or it might be pronounced like an S, s, depending on the rules, generally speaking. Same thing with, say, GH. Often it's has no sound at all. And then in the word lap, it has we give it an F sound. And there are situations like that in Korean script. The same character that is used for a hard G, g, is sometimes pronounced like a K, k. But there is a character that specifically is sounded with a k sound. Okay, now I've only said all that to say that. So, take my take my transliteration or my spelling out in English letters. Take it with a grain of salt. And it's not unusual that when you go to places that are describing Korean foods or Korean expressions, you could compare two different sites and they might spell in English letter the same item in different ways. And basically, the writers are attempting to accommodate the phonetics. And again, you can't do that letter for letter. So to say hello to someone, a formal way to say hello uh, to someone you have just met, or maybe you recently met and aren't well acquainted with them yet, is 안녕하세요. And once you've gotten to know a person, and yeah, less formal is 안녕. You know, goodbye. You use the same beginning, just a different ending. The formal way be 안녕하세요. Some people, I've heard them pronounce it 안녕하세요. The thing is, when you're really saying it, everybody seems to understand what you mean anyway. Uh, and if you're an American trying to speak Korean, I think Koreans get a little charmed and maybe a little tickled. They like it when you make the attempt. And they're generally they've always been willing to meet me halfway. But 안녕하세요 is a formal way to say goodbye, and informal, again, 안녕. So now, of course, Koreans, each person has his own little flair, to add to the language. So you might hear one part of a word bent a little bit, and well, that's okay. Still, you know, speaking a language isn't just pronouncing words. We have idioms and body language and context. Put it all together, and that's how we communicate. I asked my director yesterday. I said, "What's a very simple, easy way for me to tell restaurateurs the food is delicious? I enjoyed the food, just simple." And my director said something. I haven't looked it up yet. I'm just going to give you the raw conversation here. She said what sounded like to me, and this is the way she said, well, let me put it this way. What she said, I went, that sounds like you're saying, my sister, yo. I said, so if I go in there and I say, my sister, yo, will they understand what I'm trying to say? And she and her mom were both laughing. In fact, everybody at the table were laughing, and yeah, they would understand. So I tried it out last night. I didn't. Well, the lady cook, um, she came to me and she said, "My sister, yo," something like that, and I said, "My sister, yo." Oh me. Oh yeah. Um. So that's my little tidbit of Korean language. Um, Again, bear in mind that when you're spelling it out in English letters, we're trying to convey the phonetics, what it what it typically sounds like. And remember, Koreans, one an English consonant that is difficult for Koreans is the R sound, R. And there's a character that Koreans use. It's the same for the R sound and the L sound. And a lot of our words in English that have an R in it and an L in it is difficult. And let's recall that back when we were youngsters, we Americans, when we were youngsters, many of our teachers really, they got in, okay, shape your mouth this way and use your tongue and use your teeth and do it this way. And many of us, we were really drilled into us, and so when we got older, we had gotten to a point we were set in it. Well, in Korea, it's the same way. You grow up having the teachers tell you to pronounce it, use your mouth a certain way, and so going from one language to another, it's kind of like, are you one of those when in speaking Spanish, that R, that drill? I have what they call the lazy American tongue. I can hardly do that thing, Same sort of thing. And yeah. And let's see. There was something else. Oh yeah. Many of you may recall, like I do, that my elementary school teachers, it was the same thing about writing. They would almost stand over our shoulder, and some would almost hold our hand to make sure we, began in the right place, and, when we were scripting out a letter, and if any of us tried to depart from the orthodox way of doing it, they, no, that's not right. And back then, a teacher could smack your hand or something, and now I'm not saying they do that in Korea, but I am saying this, that I've seen, by the time we've reached the end of what, first, second, and third grade, we've built up speed, we were, print and write out. And Korean, I've seen first at the end of the first grade, second grade, and third grade. Yeah, that Korean script, and they just write it out just as fast as English. So uh, English script, usually my Korean students have caught on to English script, writing it and calling out the letters. That's the easy part. Uh, and many of our words are actually quite simple to call out, but comprehending and putting the words together to make sentences, and then sentences, adding sentences to expand thought is another thing, and that's you know what we have to work on at our school. It's a challenge, but I have to say I admire these children. Yes, they work so hard and they do so very well, and yeah, and it's kind of a South Korean thing. It's been a point the people through their government have decided that they want they want all students to study English because it's being considered the global language, if you will. And I don't want to get into that imperialistic kind of thing. From my point of view, I'm here to help provide a service. The Koreans here want to learn the language, and so I'm here to assist and coach them along. You know, so I got to go to the gym, y'all. I mean, I had to once again kick myself out of bed. Well, not really. I got up okay. I think this little touch of sinus is kind of. I looked outside and it's cloudy, and I looked at the weather report and it says a little rain here and there. So I'll grab my umbrella and take it with me. I'll take my camera too, for those Kodak moments and whatever. But okay, so until next time, this is Big Bear Ron. We'll talk at you later. Bye bye.